When will the tribulation and all these things you're talking about happen?
In this generation. The exact day and hour, I do not know. Only my Father knows.
What do you think about Jesus?
I know he said the temple will be destroyed in our generation. I'm calling cap on that, though. The guy is talking to people 2,000 years from now.
What's it like being a dispensationalist?
I think Jesus was still capping on the temple being destroyed in our generation. I know it's destroyed behind me, but he was talking about a temple 2,000 years from now.
So, the temple's on fire, but don't worry, y'all. Jesus coming back is going to happen in the real tribulation later, when there's, computers and people identifying as animals and stuff. We're only being starved, burned alive, and can't buy or sell anything unless we listen to the high priest. Imagine how bad it'll be when the real tribulation starts. I didn't take Jesus seriously when he said flee to the mountains. I thought he was going to come in judgment 2,000 years from now.
You see Jerusalem surrounded by armies. You know that its desolation is near.
Wait a second. Were you talking to us?
There's probably no topic that is debated and disagreed on more in Christianity than the second coming of Christ. And especially right now, you got this issue in the Middle East going on over there with Hamas and Israel, and it's Christians are looking at that and say, the world's about to end. This is it. This is, it's just all going to blow up. And it might just blow up over there, okay? But it's not going to be the end of the world. And I think the reason that Christians are so confused on this issue is there is a real lack of understanding of hermeneutics within the church today. Hermeneutics is the science of biblical interpretation. And there are laws that govern how we interpret the Scripture. And most Christians probably have never even heard of hermeneutics. And so therefore they just interpret the Bible like a newspaper that they got that day. Oh, look, I just got it. And they read it and it's like, yeah, this is to me. Really? Where is the book written to the saints at Tidewater, Virginia? Where is that book? So we have to interpret it in the light of its original audience.
Okay, hello everyone. So I have never made a YouTube video before, but God has kind of laid it on my heart today to put this out there. So just a little backstory. My husband and I have really been reading about the past few months about some eschatology views, and specifically Satan's little season. And after reviewing all the evidence, spending hours and hours of research, we have come to the conclusion that we think that we definitely are living in Satan's little season. And the past few weeks, we've been watching, quite a few of the debunking videos that people have made on YouTube about Satan's little season, just to kind of see if any of their points have any merit to them, or, if anything, if God is trying to speak to us through that. And I haven't found anything that refutes it, basically.
The first reason I'm certain we're nearing the end of the little season is that the symphony of deception that we've witnessed over the last quarter millennium, growing more complicated and powerful with each passing year, is nearing its climax. It really is quite a body of work, and watching it evolve is depressing, but impressive. We have finally reached a point where everything 99.9% of the population believes is a lie. And it's not just that what we believe is false. It's that the lies are designed to hurt us morally, financially, physically, and most importantly, spiritually. The modern world is nothing more than a soul-harvesting factory for the devil. All deception has an agenda behind it. Otherwise, why would they waste their time? I've covered this in detail in previous videos, but the concepts we need to understand are going to be quite simple for those of you who understand basic politics. The institutions a tyrannical power needs to oversee in order to control a population are: 1. Media and entertainment. This allows all information, formal and informal, to be readily absorbed by those who have no grasp on reality. 2. Education. Really an extension of the first category and another way to give false credibility to whatever narrative those in charge want to relay, just with less actors and more useful idiots. Studies have proven time and time again that the illusion of authority is all that 80% of the population needs to do their bidding. A lab coat, a business suit, a military uniform, whatever. 3. Government and law. I think this is self-explanatory. 4. Banking and finance. Just an extension of the previous category. The the motivation to accomplish all you want in government. Number 5, medicine. Once a noble profession, now controlled by corporations who poison us from birth to ensure customers for life. Sick people are also easier to control. Literally every major institution in this world that controls information and power is entirely corrupt. In this case, they're primarily using media and entertainment with just a dash of education, and of course the remaining categories fund it. The Bible warns us over and over again about deception, to the point where it wouldn't be unreasonable to think our entire lives are just a test to see if we're able to avoid Satan's traps. I mean, the first lesson in the Bible, original sin. What did Eve do that was so terrible? She allowed herself to be deceived by Satan.
People try to dance around this and make it look like that Christ lied. I'm going to try to do it within a minute and a half to show you that Christ already came back during the first century. It says, this is Matthew 24:1. And Jesus went out and departed from the temple, and his disciples came to him for to show them the buildings of the temple. And Jesus said unto them, See ye not all these things? Verily I say unto you, there shall not be left here one stone upon another that shall not be thrown down. Now, know what the disciples asked him. Verse 3. Tell us what shall these things be? And what shall be the sign of thy coming and of the end of the world? They asked 3 questions. What is the sign of the destruction of the temple coming? What is the sign of thy coming? That was Christ's second coming, and the end of the world. And this is what Christ said all of those signs were. You see that even the book is taking it back to Revelation. The things that Christ gave them about 70 AD is the signs of his second coming. That's the sign of his second coming and of the end of the world, or the age of Moses. Now, we can go all the way down, and it said, except those days be shortened, for false prophets shall arise, and all that stuff. Now, let's keep reading. All these are signs of the destruction of the temple. And then it says, immediately after the tribulation of those days. The tribulation dealt with what was going on during the destruction of the temple. So immediately after the tribulation of those days, shall the sun be darkened, and the moon shall not give her light, and the stars shall fall from heaven. And then shall appear the sign of the Son of Man in heaven. And this got this going to Revelation 1. But I want to hit up to Revelation and show you. There we go right there. Revelations 6 and 12. And I beheld when he had opened the 6th seal, and lo, there was a great earthquake, and the sun became black as sackcloth of hair, and the moon became as blood, and the stars of heaven fell unto the earth, even to a fig from a tree casting untimely figs when she is shaken by the wind. That is the 6th seal. Let's go back to Matthew 24. Immediately after the tribulation of those days shall the sun be darkened, and the moon shall not give out her light. All of this was to occur during first century destruction of the temple. That was his second coming. That's why they asked, what was the sign of the destruction of your second coming and the end of the world, which would be the world of Israel, or the Mosaic age. So, now, as he keeps saying, now learn the parable of the fig tree, which is the same fig that in Revelation he said, like an untimely fig. So, once again, it shows you, look, and then shall appear the Son of Man of trials, and all the people of the earth shall mourn. And it goes back to Daniel 7 and Revelation 1 and 7. All of this was to occur during the destruction of the temple, 70 AD. Not 2018, 2019. Read your Bible and believe Christ. And to put the icing on the cake, we're going to read, for these be the days of vengeance, 70 AD, that all things which are written may be fulfilled. All things in the Tanakh has to be fulfilled during that time. Verse 24 is talking about the time of the Gentiles, which is Revelation 11, 1 and 2. Verse 27. And then shall they see the Son of Man coming in a cloud with power and great glory. That's the second coming. Verse 32 said, Verily I say unto you, this generation, the generation Christ is talking to, which are the disciples who are right there in front of him, their generation, the generation that had 70 AD, shall not pass away till all be fulfilled. Your doctrine has been destroyed. Christ had already came back if you're going to believe the Bible.
Welcome back to the channel. This is BTE TV, and I am Tony Jackson. Right off the bat, I want to say forgive me for my voice. I had a very bad cold last week, and I'm still at the tail end of it, but still kind of fighting to get my full health back. So I apologize if I'm clearing my throat a lot. Okay, another little season video. Really? Yes, I know, and I agree. I honestly did not want to make another one so soon because I have so many other subjects that I want to research right now, especially as our world is plunged further into chaos and destruction with each passing day. However, I have come across some new information that is yet even more proof that the Millennial Reign already occurred. And I had a personal experience that I believe may have been a divine message from the heavens. Just wait until you hear this story. I think you will, at the very least, find it interesting, if not an amazing and simply fascinating example of God's true glory. Another thing I want to mention is I hear a lot of the comments. And by the way, the support I get lately has been amazing. Thank you guys so much. It really means a lot to me. And I do try to respond to every comment. So if I haven't responded to yours, it's just because I'm getting so many lately on all my videos. But I do try to respond to each and every one, even the negative ones. And I know there's been a lot of negative feedback on the music, and I do take that into consideration. I just know that I used to be a musician, and so part of what motivates me to make these videos, believe it or not, this is going to sound kind of strange, but it starts with a song. I'll hear a song and it will kind of spark an idea, and then I kind of build the video around the song. I know that's really crazy, but you know, we all get messages from the Holy Spirit in different ways. That may be the way that I get my messages. I don't know, but I am going to try and tone it down, and I have actually, my last few videos, I have tried to tone the music down. And sometimes, honestly, I've taken it out completely, and then I've gone back and watched it, and it's just so damn boring, right? Like, when there's no music, you ever watch a movie with the soundtrack removed? It's like not even the same movie. But message received. Sorry for those of you that struggled to hear the message. Because of the music, it wasn't my intention to drown it out. Okay, so having said all that, let's dive right into this first piece of new evidence I found, and then I will share this experience I had with you all. Definitely stick around for that. This one is going to be one for the books, I think. And of course, this is all just for entertainment purposes only. And with that being said, let's begin. Okay, so let's get right into this Geneva Bible information. So I would just happen to be watching YouTube, and a random video about the little season of Satan popped up. And I just figured, oh, it's someone new I've never heard. Her name was Tara Lewis, and I thought I'd give it a try. And as I was watching it, I was really impressed. Her presentation was great. She's very, very, very intelligent, and obviously did a lot of research on this. And I learned a lot from watching her video. It seems like I'm always learning when it comes to this subject. But I was very impressed, and she blew me away with something she said. I never heard this. Apparently, the Geneva Bible has footnotes, and these footnotes have a timeline that basically states that most of prophecy was already fulfilled in the 1st century. And I don't know why no one's ever talked about this. I certainly never heard of it. I have a Geneva Bible. I just
went right by the footnotes. But I'm going to read this to you, and, again, fact check me, because I'm not so sure I completely understand the way this is set up. But I went to a website called sacred-text.com, and then you click on the chapter you want to look at the footnotes of. I clicked on Revelation, and what I found was astonishing. All right, let's go ahead and just watch a few seconds of Tara's video. I just want to, give her a shout out because she did break this news, at least to me anyway. I've never heard anyone else talk about this. And then we'll get back into the actual content itself. Okay, here we go.
Let's now look at the 1560 Geneva Bible. It's a great Bible. It is a little difficult. It's a little tricky to read. Like the S's kind of look like F's, but there's also F's, so that's a little confusing. And then the U is written as a V, but when you just start reading, the words start coming together. But it is a little difficult. It's definitely worth the effort to read. This Bible is one of the more accurate English translations of its time, coming directly from the original Hebrew, Aramaic, and Greek texts. Even more, it includes detailed footnotes and commentary to help readers understand prophecy and scripture in context, showing how events were fulfilled in the first century, something many modern Bibles often leave out. So the 1560 Geneva Bible provides footnotes that clarify prophecy fulfillment. For example, when we talked about Matthew 24:34, it notes that events would happen within 50 years, quote unquote, states that in the notes, showing prophecy applied to the first century generation. Which, if you think about, like I've said in my other videos, if you just delete everything out of your mind, all the indoctrination, what man has said, interpreting the scriptures, when you just read the scriptures for what they are, you read Matthew 24 that Yahusha was talking directly to the people there. So that generation, and he said, this generation shall not pass until all these things be fulfilled. Daniel 9:27, 70th week was fulfilled during Yahusha's ministry, not something we're still waiting for years later. And the footnotes emphasize that Yahusha preached, suffered, and died within that timeline, as the scriptures state as well. Revelation 22:10 repeats the urgency. John is told, do not seal the book, for the time is at hand. Unlike Daniel, John's revelation was written with immediate applicability. So modern readings often hide these points, but careful study shows that early scholars and Bibles recorded fulfilled prophecy clearly for believers to understand. It's also worth noting that the apocryphal books like Jubilees and Jasher contain additional historical events and prophetic insights that support the millennium having already occurred. These texts provide context and details that align with what the Geneva Bible footnotes and Revelation indicate.
All right, now let's get into the content here, and I'm going to just read the abridged version because there's a lot written here. But basically, if you go online, and I went to a site called sacred-text.com, I selected Revelation as the chapter. It starts with a timeline, okay? And I'm just going to read this here. It says, 1 AD, the dragon watches the church of the Jews, which was ready to travail. She brings forth, flees, and hides herself while Christ was yet on the earth. 34 AD, the dragon persecutes Christ, ascending to heaven. He fights and is thrown down, and after persecutes the church of the Jews. Okay, 67 AD, the Church of the Jews is received into the wilderness for 3 years and a half. This is where it gets interesting. 70 AD, when the Church of the Jews was overthrown, the dragon invaded the Catholic Church. All this is in the 12th chapter. The dragon is bound for 1,000 years in chapter 20. The dragon raises up the beast with 7 heads and the beast with 2 heads, which make havoc of the Catholic Church and her prophets for 1,260 years after the Passion of Christ. 97 AD, the 7 churches are admonished of things present somewhat before the end of Domitian, his reign, and are forewarned of the persecution to come under Trajan for 10 years. God by word and signs provokes the world and seals the godly. He shows his examples of wrath on all creatures, mankind accepted in chapter 8. All right, ready for this? It says 1073 AD, the dragon is let loose after 1,000 years. Right there, it says it right there. 1073 AD, the dragon is let loose after 1,000 years. All I'm going to say is I want everyone to fact check this. This is actually from the 1599 Geneva Bible. I know Tara says that she found this in the 1560 Geneva Bible. So either way, look into this. Maybe I have this wrong. Maybe I'm misinterpreting this information. I don't see any other way to read this, though. And again, these are just footnotes. They're not like historical facts, but again, more evidence that we are on the right. We're on the right path here. And at least back then, it seems like people fully believed that most of these prophecies already occurred. So again, just, fact check me on this and, leave comments. And I'm sure there's going to be a lot of debate on this back and forth either way. And just, pray, ask God to give us all discernment so that the truth shines at the end of the day above all else. All right. So anyway, I thought that was interesting. Next, we're going to go into something that's a little bit more of a personal nature that happened to me a couple weeks ago, but I do believe it was some kind of a divine message. And I know that's to hear anyone say that, most of you are going to cringe and write me off, but just hear the story. Okay. It was, I was having a conversation with a very good friend and something crazy happened, and I'll tell you all about it. All right, so let's get into that now. Here we go. Okay, now for that personal experience that I mentioned. So a couple of weeks ago, I was having a conversation with a very good friend. We both have a lot of problems that we're dealing with. She has some health issues, and I'm dealing with some issues of my own. So we were kind of on the phone praying, asking God to show us, how much longer we have to endure this event. Whether you believe it's a little season or not, you have to at least admit that it's very difficult to be alive today, especially if you're a Christian. It's there's just so much to worry about and be concerned about, I should say. I know we're not supposed to worry about anything, but it's tough. It's just the enemy is just making it really difficult. And so we were both kind of just, kind of complaining, like, oh, I don't know how much longer I can take this. Lord, please let us know, when is this going to be over? Are we really at the end of the little season? And all of a sudden, she started singing a song. And it was very strange, and I'll tell you why that was strange, and then I'll tell you the song. It's very strange because she's not someone who's really into secular music anymore. And even when she was, before she was saved, she was, into like a lot of the dance, hip hop. She'd go to clubs a lot, and she was into that kind of music, dance music and rap and hip hop and all that. So she started singing this song, and I didn't think anything of it. And then she said, "Wow, that was strange." And I said, "Why was that strange?" And she said, "Because I haven't even heard that song in like 5 years." And she said, "That's not even a song that I like. Like, I don't know why that song popped into my head." The song was Summer Breeze by Seals and Crofts. And we're going to do kind of a little deep dive into them. And I know it sounds kind of silly at first, like Seals and Crofts, they weren't a Christian band. Like, why is that, why is that interesting? Well, that's what I thought. So she started singing the song. She's like, "Oh, wow, that was crazy. I don't know why that song popped into my head." And then she said, maybe we should just look at the lyrics. I don't know. Maybe that was like, because she said, "I have been known to receive messages from God in a similar way." In other words, a song will pop in her head. She'll look into the lyrics, and then it leads her to something, some divine message. So we are going to look at the lyrics to this song, and then you're going to understand why I believe this was some type of a divine message. And I'm having trouble finding it right now. Okay. I'm just going to play the song first, okay? So you guys, in case someone doesn't know it, you can hear it and kind of get the melody in your head. And then we're going to talk about the lyrics, and then also the name of the band, which also has biblical meaning to it. I mean, this is crazy. There's so much biblical meaning. It even tells us the end of the little season, and I'm not even joking. So let me play the song first. Listen to the lyrics. That'll kind of give you guys a chance to maybe find your own clues and get your own meaning out of it. And then I'm going to tell you that what we found when we did a deep dive into this. All right, so I'm going to play that now. Here we go.
See the curtains hanging in the window in the evening on a Friday night. Little light is shining through the window, lets me know everything's alright. Summer breeze makes me feel fine, blowing through the jasmine in my mind. Summer breeze makes me feel fine, blowing through the jasmine in my mind. See the paper laying on the sidewalk, a little music from the house next door. So I walk on up to the doorstep, through the screen and across the floor. Summer breeze makes me feel fine, blowing through the jasmine in my mind. Summer breeze makes me feel fine, blowing through the jasmine in my mind. Days of summer, the jasmine's in bloom. July is dressed up and playing her tune. And I come home from a hard day's work, and you're waiting there, a care in the world. See feel the arms that reach out to hold me in the evening when the day is through. Summer breeze makes me feel fine, blowing through the jasmine in my mind. Summer breeze makes me feel fine, blowing through the jasmine in my mind.
All right, let's get into the lyrics first. I think this is crazy. So the first thing we did was look for to see if there was a date or a time, and the very second verse of the song, in the evening on a Friday night. Now, remember this. In the evening on a Friday night. Okay. So I just said, you know what? Just for the heck of it, when is, let me see if I can pull a calendar up here. I said, everyone thinks that July of 2026 is the end of the little season, right? So let's pull this up here. Okay. July 4th, 2026 is a Saturday. But July 3rd is a Friday. But a Friday evening is the morning of the 4th of July. Now, I don't know why in this calendar it says the 3rd is Independence Day. Did they change it or something? 4th of July is usually Independence Day, I thought. Unless for purposes of giving people work off, maybe? I don't know. But anyway, I just find that, what are the chances, right, that it says Friday evening in the song, and Friday evening is the morning of July 4th of 2026. All right. So there's that. Okay, thought that was pretty interesting. Now, a light shining through the window lets me know everything's all right. That's the third and the fourth verse of the song. A little light shining through the window lets me know everything's all right. Now we get to look into the second. Actually, this is the first chorus. The second line of the first chorus says, "Blowing through the jasmine in my mind." Wait till you see what jasmine means. This I thought was also very cool. The name Jasmine has Persian origins and means gift from God. It is associated with qualities such as grace, elegance, and beauty. Gift from God. That's Jasmine. Blowing through my mind. Like the song Blowing Through Her Mind was a gift from God. God saying, guys, don't worry. It's almost over. I don't know. Again, I may be connecting dots that shouldn't be connected. But that was pretty crazy too. All right, let's go back to the lyrics. Yep. Here's where it says July. So what is that? After the second chorus, it says, "Sweet days of summer, the jasmine's in bloom. July is dressed up and playing her tune." So that's where we got the July. So we've got Friday evening or Friday night, it says, in the evening on a Friday night. And then here, it says July. Friday in July in the year 2026 is July 4th. Friday evening is the morning of July 4th. So I don't know. I just found that to be pretty interesting. Let's see if there's anything else. Nope. Now we go to the name of the band itself. And if you look up the meaning of seal, S-E-A-L, this is also very interesting. A device or substance that is used to join two things together so as to prevent them from coming apart. So remember that. A seal is a device or substance that is used to join two things together. Now look at croft. The term croft in a biblical context refers to a small enclosed field or farm. It is derived from Old English, where croft means a small farm and ton means enclosure or settlement. Okay? But let's take it a step further. If you look up what animals are raised on a croft, they rear Hebridean sheep and keep a mixture of Highland, Lewing, and Shorthorn cattle. God is keeping the sheep together, his flock, right? He's keeping his flock from coming apart. I don't know. I just find that to be pretty meaningful. Okay, now Seals and Crofts was not a Christian band. They were like this Baha religion or something. I don't know how to pronounce that. And it's kind of a new age religion where they believe that everyone should all religions should come together, and definitely not Christian. But they did have a song called Unborn Child, which was an I don't know if I can say this on YouTube. When women become pregnant and they decide they no longer want to deal with it. Yeah, it was an that song. And it looks like they really did kind of, they did put a lot of effort into using that song to speak out against that, which I guess that's pretty, not to cause any controversy on here, but that's, in my opinion, that's an honorable thing to do. So again, look, the whole music thing, people think if it's secular, there's nothing good about it, throw it in the trash. And I disagree. I feel like just the same way Satan uses, music to deceive Christians, I feel like we as Christians can use Satan's music to do good and to undo the evil that it's caused. And if that's what it takes for, someone to get a message of hope, if it's a secular song that was written in the 70s, 74 or something, then, why not? I don't listen to as much secular music as I used to. I probably cut down by about 95%. I used to be hardcore into like Led Zeppelin and Black Sabbath and all that horrible stuff. Even like really a band like Merciful Fate. Believe it or not, I like them. Their music. I wasn't totally on board with their message, but I just really like their music. I didn't know any better though. So I think there's some gray areas. That's all I'm saying. I don't think it's totally like, if it's secular, I'm not going to use the song Stairway to Heaven by Led Zeppelin to like promote Christian beliefs, because that song's actually about the piper, which is Lucifer. you know, I do believe that you can take secular music and with the right intent behind it, if you're trying to evoke feelings or emotions, and you do it with the blessing of God, I think it can be it's okay. So anyway, I just, you know, let me know what you think about that. Did my friend receive a divine message in the form of this 70s soft rock song, right? That has all these, you know, and has that July, you know, the Friday in July reference in the song, and then the name of the band means, you know, bringing the sheep together, bringing the flock together. And then jasmine, you know, that whole the meaning of the word jasmine, I thought that was very interesting. Gift from God, right? That's anyway, that was it. And you know, let me know what you guys think about that. We were both very moved by that, and I'm not by any means saying this is like a prophetic anything, but it happened. It was genuine. And we were both like totally just blown away by that once we started looking into the lyrics and, you know, going a little bit deeper into it. Okay. Now, having said that, let's move on to the next topic. Here we go.
Bright, bright, sunshiny day. One more time, it's a bright, bright, sunshiny day. Sing the spot with me. 1, 2, 3. It's a bright. Oh, yeah. It is a. Blessed is the man and woman that walketh not in the counsels of the reptilians, nor standeth in the ways of sinners, nor sitteth in the seat of the scornful. But he delights in the laws of the Most High, and in those laws of I and I meditate day and night. And we are like the trees that are planted by the rivers of waters, that bringeth forth fruits in due seasons. Our leaves also doth not wither, and whatever we do, it is prosperous. Those reptilians are not so, but are like the chaff which the wind driveth away. Therefore, they shall not stand in this judgment, sinners in the congregation of the righteous. For the Most High.
Jimmy Cliff calls out the reptilians, says their days are numbered. I found that kind of interesting, especially given what we were discussing earlier in this video. It could be nothing. I mean, it could just be rants of a, you know, an older musician that was from his last performance. He is unfortunately no longer with us. He passed away. That was his last show. But I just thought it was worth putting in here because it could be more evidence that, you know, the devil's days are numbered. And finally, I just have a couple more clips. This next one is also from this channel, one of my favorite YouTube channels I follow. It's called Minutes of Horror. He's also called Seconds of Horror. That's like his backup channel. He has a lot of he covers a lot of different subjects, which is why I like it. There's a lot of variety and a lot of paranormal subject matter. But anyway, this is going to be interesting. This is a country that very few people know about, and it's very reminiscent of Tartaria, which is why I thought it would be relevant to put it in this video. And again, it may mean nothing. You know, maybe they're just copying the architecture from a past civilization, but I just thought this was worth at least showing people. You know, I think this is stuff we should know about since our media doesn't tell us these things. All right, let's check this out.
I have spoken about mysterious countries on this channel quite often, including Astana, but news came out recently talking about a country called Transnistria, a mysterious country with no official identity. And then I started reading about this country. There is a country called Turkmenistan, and a lot of these symbols you're going to see in this country resemble those of what could look like crop circles.
If you remember my previous videos on this beautiful yet mysterious country, Turkmenistan, you should totally go back and check them out. But if you remember, one of the strange things about this country is just how hard it is to vacation there. But here's a video of somebody actually getting to travel there and sharing his unique experiences. Let me know what you think.
This is the strangest country in the world. There are no people around anywhere. The city is full of these crazy lavish monuments. There is no traffic. Malls, hotels are all empty. So the question is, where is everyone? This is the country of Turkmenistan. And after visiting more than 130 countries, this place is unlike anywhere I've ever been. The president requires all buildings and cars to be white. Tourists who do visit are under strict requirements to have a guide with you at all times and are banned from visiting certain places in cities. Most websites and apps are banned, and Wi-Fi is pretty much non-existent. Every single activity we did, we were the only ones there, including this popular swimming hole and even the famous gas crater. We were the only ones who stayed at this awesome yurt camp. The airport is full of security guards, but for what? It's empty. Restaurants and streets, all the same. There are some camels around though. The locals I did meet were super friendly and welcoming. This place fascinates me and I've loved my time here so far. But the truth is there's just sort of a weird and eerie feeling you have when visiting here that's hard to explain.
But here's where things get a lot more interesting, because look at these shapes and the architecture.
A lot of you wanted to hear more on Turkmenistan from my previous video. It's a very beautiful and mysterious country, especially its capital, Ashgabat. Just look at the architecture. This is said to be just a Ferris wheel, a fully enclosed one. And you'll notice that star pattern in all of these beautiful structures. That's repeated all over. It's a beautiful city, but it's mostly empty. It looks like it's made to have tourists in the millions. But in fact, this country is one of the least traveled to countries in the world. The mainstream media says Turkmenistan is nothing more than just a country ruled by a dictator that built all of this architecture for seemingly no reason. Of course, any news or communication with a majority of Turkmenistan is pretty much impossible. All the apps in the Western world, pretty much all of them are banned, and cell phones included. But one of the most beautiful parts of Turkmenistan is from above. Look at that architecture. Everything was built and laid out with such purpose and such pattern. Just like those old world Tartarian structures. Is this one of the last remnants of the old world, hidden in the desert? Or if we trust the experts in the mainstream media, is it just nothing more than a dictator's playground? A dictator that seems to love to emulate the layout and infrastructure of the old world. Question everything, friends. Until next time.
When I was 25 years a dispensationalist, had a pre-trib then post-trib view, most of the information that was given to me about preterism was false. People have lots of misconceptions, and that's generally, even the name preterism is given by dispensationalists. Dispensationalists would say, we have our future view, you have your past view. But partial preterism also believes that there is a future physical coming of the Lord. So it's not quite true, and lots of misinformation. And we're going to be, I think even also, I forgot to say that the Ante-Nicene fathers, I was told that they just don't really listen to them. They were all over the place. They had different views, but that's true of many today. Even the dispensational view they've had, since it started in 1830 by John Nelson Darby, there's been hundreds and hundreds of prediction of the end times, the day and the hour, and all sorts of stuff. Even modern people that we trust, from Calvary Chapel, Chuck Smith, predicted, that the end would have come. I forget what his date was. I have to go look it up. It might have been in the 1970s, and that credit cards were the mark of the beast. And so when I was a dispensationalist, I didn't think we'd make it to the year 2000. I mean, most people didn't. And there's if you want to poison the well for the early church fathers, there's just as much dark going on in almost every age. And just let's look at this view according to the truth that it presents in the Bible, not according to the people that you try to make look bad.
Okay, guys, that's going to do it for this video. Thank you all again for your continued support, and keep those comments coming. I've actually learned a lot from reading the comments, and I know other people learn a lot as well. I've seen some absolutely brilliant and some amazing things written in the comments section on my videos lately. So thank you very much. God bless you all. And I want to again thank my friend Stephanie. She's the one that had the song Summer Breeze pop into her head just as we were asking the Lord to reveal the end of the little season. And in that song, it says a Friday night in July, and all kinds of biblical references, Jasmine, Blown in My Mind, and all that stuff. Just really amazing. And Stephanie, thank you. I was on the phone with you when it happened, but you actually were the one that proceeded to look into the lyrics to see if there was any meaning behind it. So that was just an incredible discovery. Thank you again, Stephanie. I appreciate it. And appreciate all you guys. Stay strong. Remain faithful. Remember, those who endure till the end shall inherit the kingdom of God. And that's what we have to do. I do feel that the devil's days are numbered, though. I really do. I'm not just saying that. And I just hang on for a little bit longer. I know it's tough, but we have to be strong. Okay, and I'm going to close this out with the Lord's Prayer, because I feel that is one of the most powerful tools that we have as Christians. It's a lot more powerful of a prayer than I think most people think. And it's no, it's no coincidence that that's the one prayer that Jesus instructed us to say. And you really should be saying that prayer daily. I might do a video on that in the future to explain why it's just so important. Okay, thank you guys. I'm going to close this out with a prayer. Here we go. Okay, let's pray. Our Father who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our trespasses, as we forgive those who trespass against us. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, the power, and the glory, forever and ever. Amen. Thank you, guys. God bless you all, and good night.
Strangers once and strangers again. Yet I'd still move the earth and heaven to see the wounds time never ends. I'll still be yearning when forever finally ends. When it finally ends. you.